Butter, as they say.
No, I've been a little behind on my catching up.
With what?
This was going when I didn't know it was going. You remember?
Oh yeah. No,
sure.
listen. We are recording. The microphone is on. See, girlfriend, you're not gonna have me out here looking like I just tricked you into something. We are recording. We are speaking. It is live.
All right.
We're good to go.
All right.
Good to go. But yeah, no, it's been a good week. I'm glad we was able to catch up.
I wanted to ask a question like, when you're gonna edit to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, sir.
when you doing that, how do you separate? Say there's a paragraph here you want to keep, and another paragraph you want to eliminate. How do you separate that?
Well, what I can do is, you see how each of these lines is a day that we've recorded, right?
Okay.
So this was Monday, this was yesterday, and this is today. And what I'll do is, it's kind of hard to tell right now, but there's lines going here.
Okay.
Going down.
Yeah.
And I can cut and take out, as I choose. So this program will let you do that. It'll let you take a whole clip from the day like this. This is like from beginning to end, right?
Okay.
And anywhere in between, I can go in there and I can say, I'll cut it right here, and take this whole part out, and then just push it together essentially. So you can do all that on the computer, and it's really convenient. It's really convenient because I can cut any part, the beginning, middle, or end, whatever it is.
Either way you want to go, back or forward.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I kind of wondered about that. How would you separate what you don't want versus what you want to keep? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about it being digital. Because, when you're recording on tape, you probably have to go back and re-record over something and, cut it short. Yeah. But it's a lot more, I'll say, flexible when you're digital, because you can pick and choose, and I can cut off just a second or 15 minutes, whatever I choose, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So I'll go back and listen. Most of the time, honestly, I keep pretty much the whole conversation that we have in there. If I cut anything out, it'll just be like if one of us start coughing, or maybe we got a couple seconds where we're just not saying anything.
Okay.
I might just cut that out just to clean it up a little bit, but nothing major. I mean, I feel like everything you're saying is a gem, so I'm not really taking out too much.
Now, one more question in that area. How do you think the audience, the family, is accepting what we're doing here? Did anybody made any mention about any part of it?
Hold on, now I thought I was asking you questions here. No, everybody loves it, girlfriend. Everybody loves it. They honestly, I probably only showed it to a handful of people at this point. But everybody who I've just told to, even if they haven't actually listened to what we've talked about, when I tell them about the idea, they all really like it. Okay. They all really like it, especially doing it with you and your brothers and sisters, because you guys know the most. You guys have the most experience. So I think that it's something that people are interested in, because hearing your perspective on a lot of these things, just culture and society, the way that things work, it's interesting, and I think that it's gonna open up people's eyes as to how it ties into how they live and how they move. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So your idea of why our family is doing more of this than anybody else, what would be the answer to that?
I think just because God blessed me with the equipment to do it, and the family members to help bring it to fruition. Because like I said, I know Kyra had thought about doing something like this for a while. Okay. And she had just a tape recorder that she was planning on recording you with. And when I brought it up to, I didn't bring it up actually. It was I was talking to Uncle TL's daughter, Monica.
Monica.
Yeah. And she said something along the lines of, having you guys get together and recording a conversation. I think what she was envisioning was you guys just having a conversation in front of everybody. Okay. And I was like, hey, we could combine the two ideas. Okay. I could record a conversation being had in front of everybody.
Oh, good.
So
Yeah.
that's what we're kind of working up to with the upcoming reunion this summer. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anything really make us that different other than just seizing the opportunity that we have, you know. I was thinking about it I've had this equipment and been doing it just on my own for a while.
Okay.
But
okay.
I see how it's tying into just the family, and I think it's working out pretty good.
All right. Yeah, I was just kind of wandering in those areas because this is new to me as far as, spreading it out amongst the family.
Yeah. But what do you think about that? You think that's a good idea?
I think it's a good idea to share with the family. And what brought it to me was the fact that we lost a lot of information. I think I mentioned that to you somewhere down the line. That from our foreparents, father, mothers, aunties, uncles, and all,
right.
we missed a lot because talking freely wasn't popular when we came along.
Right.
You be seen and not heard.
That's it.
When grown people come, you go outside and play.
Right. Don't speak unless spoken to, right?
Right. So I could see that we lost a lot of information, and I didn't want all of us to go off the scene without leaving something for somebody to pick up and go with it. And that's why I brought it to you, what I had. Because I'm thinking in terms of that other, what you just mentioned, the recorder, and you got to listen to it, and it's not like you was describing that, where you can inch forward, out, backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this definitely makes it a little bit easier. Same concept.
Yeah.
But just a little bit easier to work with. And then, like I said, since this is already on the computer, it's really easy to put it online.
Okay.
Because I got the internet on here as well, so
right.
It's a pretty smooth process. So, yeah, I'm glad we're doing it.
Okay. Well, as long as it seemed to be interesting other people, let's go with it. That's what we're here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let's keep it going.
Keep it going.
Well, where do you want to start today?
Well, you mentioned we left off yesterday. Was something we didn't finish yesterday? I don't remember where we left off, really.
Yeah, no, I think we kind of did finish off. Well, you know what? Actually, what we were talking about yesterday was prayers, and we was talking about great grandmother Willie. You was mentioning that she used to have the prayer. Say the prayers was on the shelf, so to speak, right? And I remember you saying that was a good thing because that's something that we all need is to have prayers, people praying for you, and you pray for others as well. But it made me think actually after we talked about your dad. Like, what was his spiritual background, or how did he feel about prayers and things like that?
Papa wasn't a prayer warrior per se, but not every week, but he would come in and pray over the food before we eat.
Okay.
That was a job that Mama did most of, but he would come in, and sometimes even on Sunday, when everybody is there, and he would lead the prayer. So he believed in the prayer, and he had certain scriptures that he would quote when certain things was happening or wasn't happening. He'd go either way on that, but he would pray over breakfast, and a lot of times, and I might have mentioned this, he would be standing back from the table. And I asked him later, Papa, why were you standing back when we was at the table eating breakfast or dinner or whatever? And he would say he wanted to see us get enough to eat. Mm. And he was willing to take whatever crumb was left, and that would be his breakfast.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I thought that was reaching out really, far.
Right.
And he was watching us eat, and we didn't know how to save something for him,
You guys are just going in.
Yeah. Go and eat till you stick out. Yeah. So, but it was the knowledge, the wisdom that our foreparents had when they would be talking. And they'll be talking about stuff, raising kids and so forth and so on. And we wanted to kind of be a part of that, but we wasn't allowed to. That wasn't what was happening in those days. You be seen, not heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but as far as Papa, he did. I guess he felt what was his share of the breakfast and the prayer and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys all go to church together?
Yeah. Okay. We didn't all go every Sunday, but most of the Sundays we went together. Mm-hmm.
And was Sunday a day that you had to work? Were you still going to the fields and stuff after church, or was that an off day for everybody?
Sunday?
It's Sunday.
Off day.
Sunday was off, okay.
Definitely off. Saturday was partly off. If we had to go, say in the fall, and gather wood, we would go Saturday morning and cut wood, and then say the next Saturday, then we'll haul it to the house. Well, we mostly cut it in the woods and then haul it to the house.
Okay.
That would be on Saturday morning. So about 2 loads would be something that day's work.
Get that out of the way.
Get it out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And we also did Miss May Lou. You must have heard us mention that lady's name.
May Lou?
Sis Lou. We call her Sis Lou.
Was that the one that you said you had to chop the wood for?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And she didn't live that far from us. Mm-hmm. And we had hauled her some wood, and she didn't know we brought the wood, because where our house was arranged, we took the wood in the back, and the front of the house is where she hang out. That's where the fireplace were.
Okay.
so
she didn't see y'all coming?
No, she didn't see us coming. And the next morning, when she came out to get some wood, which she didn't have no wood to speak of, because that's why we brought her some wood, because it was real low. Now she got to struggle and get her fire started and so on. She opened her back door, and wood is stacked up almost to the ceiling. She didn't even have to go outside. Wow. Just out the back door on the porch.
There it is.
And then the wood is stacked up. We even had some kindling and some pine to get the fire started. And that lady hollered. We knew that was her. Because her voice, you know it anywhere. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. So she came down there to the house to thank Papa for, getting the wood. And Papa always teased her a little bit. Well, you passed Leaks and Morgan. How you know they didn't bring the wood? Now, Joe, don't you come in with our mess. Morgan ain't ever got out of bed yet.
She knew where we were coming from.
Oh, yeah, she knew.
That's good.
Yeah. So those was things that Papa did. He reached out to the widows, and somebody didn't have something, he would wind up taking them a piece of meat out of the smokehouse or something like that. And like I said, I think yesterday, I could never understand why some people refuse to do a garden.
When they know they need to eat.
Yeah. And they had kids. I mean, it wasn't that they didn't have no kids. They had kids. I mean, bunch of them.
Mm-hmm. You think they just didn't have any hustle about them?
Didn't have no get up and go.
Mm. Well, I can say that some things never change.
I guess so.
People walking around today that just don't seem to have any kind of get up and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they definitely know how to ask. They learned that somewhere along the way.
Yeah, yeah. So that was one of the things that we used to talk about, the children, you know. Mm-hmm. We call it children talk. Why don't they have a garden? Yeah. They come over here and, you know, ask for stuff, and Mama would give it to them, but I mean, that shouldn't stop you from seeing that you need a garden, and plow a garden up. Mm-hmm. Plenty of ground around. Mm-hmm. Just don't want to do it. And they wasn't the only one. I mean, there was these type people throughout the community. You get one here and one over there. Mm. And why they didn't see the need to do a garden is past me. Mm.
And when you mention community, how many people were in like your immediate community back then?
Oh, well, how would you draw the line? Most of the people, you remember going to our house, coming down a dirt road and the curves and the hills and what have you. Mm-hmm. Depending on which way you're going. If you're going out towards the highway, where we went to school, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So there would be 12 going this road, and there would be 12 or better going the other way. Okay. So it was like 3 12s. Okay. Would make up a community pretty much.
Okay. I mean, that's a decent size.
Yeah.
Decent size. And was it, at that time, were you familiar with everybody in that community?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We knew them all.
Yeah.
In fact, I was naming, counting the ones that we worked for.
Okay.
Now, the other 2 families that lived on the place, I don't ever remember anybody coming to their house asking them to come and work for them. Mm. That's either picking cotton or chopping. So there's got to be a reason somewhere there. Mm.
Mm. Interesting.
And we even helped them.
Right.
Uncle Morgan and Uncle Leakey lived on the same place we were on.
Gotcha.
And we went to help them pick their cotton. Mm. And all them people I was naming, we worked in their fields.
Gotcha. So everybody knew the Saffolds.
Yeah, they wanted us because we worked. Mm-hmm. We didn't have to be tutored every turn you make. Mm-hmm. You go in there and work, that's what you do.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
And out of that 36, or the 312s like you mentioned, is this all black families?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, it was all black all the way. You could drive 20 miles close to that, and it would be black owned and operated all the way through there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So, I mean, there's a sense of pride with that,
Yeah.
You guys were doing it on your own, doing it for yourselves. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah. So, okay then, well, when you're ready to kick it off, we can change subject.
Grandpa, we're recording.
I know, that's not my question. You want to go on from where we at to another subject?
Kind of. Well, I do want to ask you this. So, just because we're talking about your parents and stuff, what are some of your fondest memories of Mama and Papa?
Papa was always reaching out to somebody that didn't have, and he didn't have, but he was one that would go and pick berries. He would find, he knew how to find pine. Pine is a fine tree that fell, and if you don't do anything, the tree part, the body part of it would rot. And the pine where the limbs join the tree, that's pine. And that don't rot. When it hit the ground, it just, the wood shed away from it.
But pine stay there.
Pine stay there. And you can just pick that up and take it home, and then you cut it, and you can strike a match and light it.
Easy. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was good to have.
Yeah. So you needed some pine to get your wood going.
Okay.
Yeah. And Papa was good at that. He would find some pine and stack it up somewhere, and he'd go back and get it, and then bring it to the house and to give it to Sis Lou and whoever else needed some. So he was good at that type of thing.
Okay.
We had to walk across the creek to go to church. And what he would do on a Saturday, he would go down to the creek and cut a pole that would, because when it ain't raining, the creek the stream ain't even as wide as this room.
Okay.
It's a narrow stream. So he would cut a pole that would cross the water, and you can walk on that. And he would also cut sticks where you can take 2 sticks and walk the pole. You don't got to be,
Oh, balancing. Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. And he'd put sticks on both sides. So somebody coming from that way, they got sticks to use to come across. If you're going the other way, got sticks. Yeah. So he was good at that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Which, everybody needed that. Otherwise, you got to take your shoes and socks off and roll your pants up and
wade through the water.
Wade through the water, yeah.
Well, that's clutch. So he was very resourceful.
Yes, yes, he was. And if it had rained and there was puddles of water along the road, he would get the horse, have us get the horse. And we had one horse that everybody could ride. And she would take a couple of them across and keep doing that until she get everybody on the other side.
Yeah. That's good.
And that was a good deed. Now, I never saw Uncle Morgan, set up no pole and walking stuff. No, Lee don't even think about it. Yeah. So those was how Papa helped out with the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about Mama? What do you remember most about her?
Mama would be more at the house. She would be getting the little ones ready to go to church, and that would be her job. Getting breakfast and getting the little ones ready. Because we didn't have no trouble getting ready, because we didn't have but one set of church clothes. And
that was easy, huh?
Yeah, that was easy. Go and pull it out and put it on. Because Saturday night, you got your bath.
Okay.
That's when you got your bath, Saturday night.
Okay. Did you only bathe on Saturday night?
We just carried that, Saturday night, everybody get a bath.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so that's kind of how that worked. And Mama would be involved in tutoring, some ones that's helping the little ones, and she helping and what have you. She would have that role.
Man, so she was MVP. She was teaching,
cleaning,
cooking.
Yeah, the whole works.
Raising everybody. And you said that she had good time management, right? She had to learn that on her.
Yeah. She was a good manager, and to cook for that many kids, you had to have something going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I never did learn or figure out how in the morning during the week now she would get up and let's just say after the girls got big enough, my older sister Mosetta and Evelyn, when they had times to cook. One cook one week and one cook the next week. Okay. And that's how you learn. And Mama kept him under her wing until she caught on to how to do them biscuits. And yeah, I think you got it now. You can handle it.
Okay. That was the test right there.
Yeah. So Mama oversee the house stuff that got done. We didn't go to the school without out of field without getting the beds made up. Now we didn't have to make the beds; the girls did. But then we was slopping the hogs, milking the cows, feeding the horses, and what have you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how Mama fit in with the family work.
Gotcha. And then what about some of your aunts and uncles? I'm curious to know like how, just like your memories of them and where they fit into that whole dynamic back then.
Well, we was never around all of our aunties at the same time. Because by the time we got big enough to know them, some of them had left. And we learned them by them coming back to visit.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how we knew most of our aunts and uncles.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What about the one you told me, now this wasn't when we was just talking, but you mentioned before about, I think his name is Uncle Marvin?
Morgan?
Yeah. Was it Morgan? That played guitar, right?
Yeah,
Morgan. Okay. Yeah, Uncle Morgan. And you told me that, he told you one time that he could fill a world with what you don't know. That blew your mind.
Yeah, that really blew me off the block. I couldn't handle that. I tried to fix it as well. I do know something, but now as it comes back, there's enough you don't know to make another world. That blew my mind. I couldn't handle that one.
Listen, that's a line. That is a line.
Yeah.
But that made me think, like, to come up with something like that, he sounded like he was a funny guy, like he had a lot of character.
Yeah.
So, can you describe him a little bit?
Uncle Morgan was a special kind of guy. I don't know where he learned what he learned. He didn't have education. And there was nobody around him that he could copy off of. But he could come up with some stuff that you had never seen or heard about. So, yeah, he was comical. You might say Luther was related to him.
Okay. Cut from the same cloth, huh?
Cut from the same material, yeah. And not only that, he could make stuff. I mean, he made a guitar.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And when you hear it, it sounds like Hawaiian style. And he recorded the guitar. He made it on the side of the house. There was all wood then. There wasn't no siding and plastic and all that stuff. It was wood.
Right.
So he got the old turpentine bottles. Is what he used to tighten the guitar strings.
Wow.
And then when he would play them, he had a little bottle that he'd slide up and down to change the tunes on the wire.
Oh, that's interesting.
People used to come from miles around and hear him play that guitar.
Man.
That he made.
I
mean, he took wire off of he used to get apples and oranges in a wood box. And he took the wire off of it wasn't building wire, it was that smooth.
Right, real thin, huh?
Yeah, thin wire. And it was smooth. He got all them, them turns and where you turn the corner, because if it's a square box, you got some corners.
Mm-hmm.
So he wants the wire to be straight. And he would pound it till he get them little crooks where you can't bend it, to straighten it.
Mm.
Tap on it with a hammer and get it straight.
That's incredible.
And we talked to him, come on, why don't you go to Nashville? That's where the headquarters were.
Right.
I said, they don't want to hear me play. I just played around here. Nobody want to hear me over there.
So he was humble about it too.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. I mean, I wouldn't know where to begin building the guitar right now, so I can only imagine back in the day, like, you probably never known anybody that just made their own instruments like that. And
not only made it, I mean, it sounded like something.
Mm-hmm.
And when he would play that guitar, go out there after the sun go down, you know how the sound carry?
Mm-hmm.
Man, it'd be waking people up way down the road.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
That song, Go, Johnny Go, Johnny Be Good.
Mm.
You could hear him play the guitar from miles around. He played that guitar when the sun go down. He made up his little song, and he could sing it and play it all together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
And I don't want to hear me with my little piece I put together here. And he could fix pretty much anything.
Mm.
But now, where did he get the knowledge from to do that?
Right. That's what I'm asking. Like, how did he do that? He said nobody around him really was doing anything like that.
Well, most of the ones that grew up around here, in fact, he was a baby, baby boy of the whole family.
So maybe he's watching his older brothers and no?
Mm-mm. His older brothers didn't play the guitar. I don't know where he got. And then we had one time he was over our house, and my other uncle Ed named Lily was there, and my auntie from across the street, across the creek, was there. And we went out in the front of the house where we had some shade trees out there, so we could be out of the sun. They're talking, about different things, and finally, the sun got over where we had to move to follow the shade of the tree. And then they started talking about the sun. While we was moving, and they was talking about the sun and how that worked. And Uncle Ed was a spokesman for the sun. He knew all about how the sun worked.
He was a representative.
Yeah, he got to talking, and he was talking about the sun, and Uncle Morgan heard all he could stand, and he would say, "No, that ain't how it worked. The sun rises in the east, and you go down in the west, and the earth is revolving, going this way, and the sun is the earth is on its axles." I never heard earth axis before. Well, he dried Uncle Ed up. Because see, Uncle Morgan knew what he was talking about. Uncle Ed just going by something he heard off the cuff or something.
Right.
And he didn't have it together. And Uncle Morgan would listen to him for a while, but he said, "No, that's not how it goes." And he started talking about the world spinning on its axles, and Uncle Ed said, "Well, it is about time for us to go. It's getting late."
Wrap this up, huh? You're not gonna outdo me in this conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But that was his motto. If he couldn't lead, he can't stand it. He can't stand somebody else knowing more than he knows.
Really?
And almost everybody knew more than he knew.
Man, so he was frustrated a lot.
Yeah.
Was Uncle Ed younger than Uncle Morgan?
No, Morgan was the youngest. Because Uncle Ed's oldest child go along with David, my brother David. And Uncle Morgan, oldest child, go along with my brother Gene. So he was younger than Uncle Ed.
Interesting.
But it was interesting to hear them talk. And I mean, you're talking, but you ain't just rattling. You're saying something,
right?
You know. But he couldn't handle it. Yeah, yeah. And Uncle Morgan never made no mind about somebody else knowing what he know. He never did rebut that. You know, it's fine if you know something. You go ahead and say it.
Right.
Don't make up stuff that just cause you think you're the only one to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you just sit here and tell tall tales.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of how that developed, and I still don't know where he got his, cause he wasn't that old when his father passed, and all the sisters. They didn't do no more in high school.
Wow.
Some of them didn't get in high school.
Sounded like he was a special person.
He was.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you have any aunts like that too?
My aunts, they didn't. My one aunt, she should have been a doctor.
Really?
Because she took care of sick people after the doctor gave them up. I can't do no more for them.
She'll nurse them back to health.
Nurse them back to health.
Come on. That's awesome.
Yeah. And she had all them old doctor books.
Oh, really? So she studied a little bit.
She studied, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She knew what she was talking about.
Now she was one looked like more related to Uncle Morgan than some of the rest of them. But she wasn't fluent, come to my mind, but that's not the word I'm looking for.
Like educated?
She wasn't educated, book educated, but she had enough knowledge that she could read.
Okay.
And some of them doctor words she'd look up and figure out what they was talking about. Yeah.
And she had to use, I'm guessing, a lot less material than what the doctors had, right? She was
oh yeah.
coming up with things on her own.
Yeah.
The ointments and things like that, probably. Different medicines.
But she would read up. You heard me talk about Fluff?
No, I don't know Fluff. Who's that?
That's one of my cousins. Anyway, that was her mother.
Okay.
And there's another one claimed me to be her boy.
How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So she would claim
I
you.
happened to be over her house. And I don't remember who came over, but they had gave this lady up, the doctor, and he said he couldn't do no more for him. And Nanny told me, says, go down the road, and there's a Merlin bush down there, and bring me some. Don't get the bottom ones. You get up off the ground and bring some clean leaves. And them Merlin leaves, they grow wide, big.
Okay.
And to bring me about 6 of them. And she's trying to tell me where it's at. I says, I know exactly where it's at. I've seen that bush. I'll go get it. And so I made a fire in the stove, and I took off down there to go get the Merlin leaves. When I brought that back, she wrapped some of them up in a newspaper, put them in the oven, and let them bake till they got crisp. And she took them out, and then put that in the water now, and made like tea.
Okay.
And she got a I'm trying to say, a wash towel.
Okay.
And she poured that in a jar, put that towel in there, wash towel.
Okay.
And that's one dose. Now she got the other one and just heated it in the oven.
Okay.
She didn't pouch it like she did the first one.
Right.
She said, when you go home, you tell whoever was sick, you tell them whoever waiting on her, because she couldn't do nothing herself. She was bedridden.
Okay.
And you tell them to heat this up, the one she baked in the oven, heat that up and tell her to drink it as hot as she can bear it. And the one that she had put in the oven, she told her to wrap it around her chest
with the towel, yeah.
With the towel, and put I can't say what I'm trying to say. Anyway.
Well, like put it on her mouth maybe or her nose?
But you cover the head with it.
Okay.
And tell them to wrap her up.
Okay.
Where she can't throw nothing back. She's gonna sweat.
Mm.
But she's gonna want that off of her.
Mm-hmm.
She said, don't take it off.
Gotcha.
You keep it on there, and she would sweat that whatever she had.
Sweat it out.
Sweat it out.
Wow.
And she gave her that dose, and the lady got up and went back to working like she had been.
Man, that's incredible. How do you know something like that, right?
I don't know. I don't know how you know it, but I guess when you know something else will come in there too.
Man.
Yeah.
That's always been impressive to me. Like when people talk about, like, you know, just these, like you said, natural born doctors. You know, it's just like,
yeah.
Were you just trying every bush to see what worked for you when you get sick or what? You know, like that's a lot of research I think that had to go into that.
I don't know where she picked it up at, but I just remember she had old doctor books from somewhere. I don't know where she got them from. But the natural knowledge is what that would come under.
Right.
Because you can't, you done tried all the bushes out there and come up with that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to know something.
Yeah, you got to have somewhere to start.
Man.
Yeah, well, that was something.
Yeah. And
I was the right one to be there to send me to get the bush, get the leaf.
You said, I know where that is.
I know exactly where it's at. and I always could run. And I took off down there and got them leaves and brought them back there, and she made that tonic or whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
And the lady got up.
Worked like a charm. That's awesome.
And she used to call me, that's my boy. Yeah. And I forgot about her as far as claiming me, but there was a bunch of ladies claimed me for some reason. I don't know why, what they saw to claim me, but a number of them did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, you got that charm, Grandpa. I like to think that runs in the family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What about just talk about your siblings for a second? You know, like you said, you got it was 14 of y'all.
Okay.
So, I'm sure there were probably more brothers, but maybe some of your sisters too that you got close with. Maybe the ones you were closer with in age. You know, what kind of memories do you have with them growing up?
Well, my older sister and Evelyn was the two oldest girls. And they always lacked the dollhouse. So Jean and I, we the husband, we're going to build a wife a house. So I'm working on Rosetta and Jean is building Evelyn. And so we somehow came out with the best looking house.
How about that?
Well, my older sister, she had ideas how she wanted stuff, and I'll just kind of make sure it got where she wanted it.
Okay.
And that was my role. And Gene and Evelyn seemed like neither one didn't know exactly what they wanted. So we kind of would win those prizes, and prize wasn't nothing but another dollar or something that we cut out the Sears catalog.
Hey, that was enough though.
Yeah, that did it.
Hold on, now you said you used to cut them out of the catalog?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
play with those?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you didn't have that 25 cents to buy one.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to make it.
Gotcha.
And the Sears sent a catalog every year.
Okay.
And when this year's catalog come in, we can have that old one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
y'all would just cut it up.
Cut it up and made dollars out of it.
Did you just use the paper, or did you used to like attach it to a stick or something like that? It was just paper?
As far as I remember, it was mostly paper.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man, you may do it what you have.
Yeah.
What other kind of games did you guys play?
We played baseball and what's the other one? We played Five Go Up. I don't know if you ever heard that one.
No.
But anyway, that's you. I don't forgot how many you had to play now in one game. Well, we called it Five Go Up.
Okay.
The backbone of it was when you get 5 people out and you go up to the front. So you're like the pitcher now.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to pitch to 5 people. If you get them all out, you go to the front. And if you didn't get them out, you go to the side.
Oh, man.
And so the one that gets the most 5s, they win, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like I'd be good at that game.
Yeah, yeah. So, and we had what we called merry-go-round.
Okay.
You must have had those when you was coming up.
Yeah, definitely. In the ground where it's just spinning around.
Spin around. We made that. And let's see, what else did we play?
What did you make the merry-go-round out of?
Just a block, just stand off the ground, where your feet wouldn't hit the ground, and then spin around.
That'll work.
Yeah, and then we had what we call a rim and a guider. We did that. So it was a number of games.
Okay.
That we played.
Man, that's interesting.
And the ones that live the closest to us, he said, Monday, he says, you guys sound like y'all was having so much fun. We wanted to come up there, but their parents wouldn't let them. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the parents wouldn't let them. They wanted to come because we was having fun. Well, in Lily children, we had an off Sunday. Our main Sunday was what they call Pastor's Day, was fourth Sunday. And in Lily's church, which is the Baptist church, was third Sunday.
Okay.
And on third Sunday, after they get out of church, they came to our house.
Okay.
Fourth Sunday, when we got out of church, we went to their house. Not every time, but we made sure that it comes up. We gotta get this out of the way because we got to go over and do it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's tradition.
Yeah. So we had fun doing that, and the other kids around, we ain't got nothing to do.
Y'all made some fun.
Something to do.
You got to.
Yeah.
You got to, man. I used to work hard, so I mean, of course you're gonna play hard.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. So we did stuff like that, and we made, when I say baseball, we made the bats, we made the ball, the bases. We made that out of something. I forget what we used.
Do you remember what you made the baseball out of?
A rubber.
Okay.
Out of an inner tube.
Okay.
Inner tube, rather.
Right, for the tire?
Yeah. You see, my uncles, I told you, they parked some cars, and they ain't nothing no good no more than that car.
So y'all can do what y'all needed to.
Right.
Okay.
So we took, cut a strip of rubber all the way around the tube, and then wrapped it tight, made a fire, and put a piece of iron in the fire. So you wrap your tape around the rubber, so you can only do so much that, and now you burn it so that it stays put.
Gotcha. Okay.
Till it falling back out of place.
Right. Mold it kind of.
Did that until we got it the size we wanted.
Wow, man. So y'all had that same resourcefulness as Papa had. That's what it sounds like. It went right to y'all, cause y'all knew what to do.
Well, we had to figure it out. You know, we had what you call a scrap iron bin, let's call it.
Okay.
And whatever we needed, we go to that where you don't throw all the stuff away.
Right.
And find something in there that you can use.
Right. What can we use it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
We made a wagon that the same way. We went over and cut the tree, found a tree that's growing up the same way. So you take the first two cuts, that'll be the back wheels, that's a little higher than the front. You're going up the tree. And then you put the second two in the front. And now you got a thing where you can drive it, turn it. And we made a road for you go down the hill, and when you get to the bottom of the hill, you got to make a sharp turn, otherwise you're gonna go into the water.
Man, y'all was wild, man.
Yeah,
that's cool.
We made it so you got to be on your P's and Q's. Cause once you leave from the top of the hill, you're picking up speed as you go down. And the road didn't go straight down. You got to cut around this tree and that. And then when you get to the bottom, you got to really make that turn. Because you don't want to get wet.
Oh, that's something. That's something, man. Yeah. I'm sure somebody ended up getting wet.
Yeah. That was one time we got Luther. He always come up with who's going to go first. I said, no, you going first this time. We've been going first. So you going down here and see how he's going to make that turn.
Okay.
And he went down there and he didn't make it.
Oh, poor Uncle Luther. See, he was smart. He knew to delegate y'all to go first.
Right.
Y'all called him out.
Yeah, call him on that one.
Just to circle back real quick, when you mentioned going to Aunt Lily's like after church and things like that, so that was the whole family, right? Mama, Papa, and everybody?
Papa didn't always go, but he did sometime.
But all the kids was going?
Yeah.
Okay.
The kids go.
And you guys used to walk there?
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. And you used to walk to church as well?
Yeah.
Okay. How far of a walk is that?
Church wasn't far. It was like a mile.
Okay.
And a mile was no big trip.
Yeah, that was nothing.
No, there was nothing to it.
But Aunt Lily's was farther.
It was farther. That was a good 2 miles, or maybe 2.5, something like that.
Wow. And the girls would do it too?
Oh, yeah. But walking was the only transportation we had.
Yeah, you had to do it.
Yeah.
Well, did you, I'm just curious, like, when you guys used to walk like that as a family, is it like a single file line?
No.
Or y'all walking side by side?
Just go.
Yeah, just go, okay. So it was kind of just whatever.
Yeah, the kids going to be playing,
Okay.
And Mama will be walking, of course. But
she'd be in the back, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
You guys walk in front of her, gotcha.
Yeah. But, yeah, we walked and enjoyed it. The only problem we had there when it was time to come back home for us, they had what they call Peaceway.
What's up?
Peaceway. When we leave Aunt Lily's house going home, Aunt Lily and her group would go Peaceway with us. We call it Peaceway. And Mama and Aunt Lily get to talking, and we almost went to our house. So, we done got too far now. You got to go back Peaceway with us now.
So that's like a courtesy thing, right?
Yeah.
Peaceway. You gotta like help, see him out.
Right.
Got you. Man, but they used to take on.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, that's how we did that.
But that wasn't as far as, you said you used to walk farther than that to get to school, right?
Yeah, we had 3 miles to go to school.
So that was like the far, well, no, I guess going in town would probably be the farthest trip out of all that.
Yeah, going to town was 10 miles.
Man.
But
10
that didn't matter.
Yeah.
We're going to town, man.
Well, yeah, because you was looking forward to that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you get to go to the city. Man, that's a long ways, though. That's a long way. That's 10 miles just one way.
Yeah.
So you got to walk back home.
A lot of times we caught a ride home.
Okay.
There would be somebody in town coming out to at least, to our forkway.
Okay.
We turn off. And we walked from there. And that was, 5-6 miles. And then we had 3 to walk home.
Yeah, get it done.
Which wasn't considered much, because we were used to. That was after you got the cows and got your chores done, and now you can walk.
All right.
Yeah.
What about if you had to guess when you guys used to have to work at the Delta? How far of a walk is that?
That wasn't a walk. That was a ride.
Oh. Okay.
They picked us up.
Gotcha.
A truck came and picked us up.
Gotcha.
Because it wasn't just our family. It was the community, whoever wanted to go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how that worked. We didn't walk there. That was 30 miles. At least 30 or better.
Man, yeah, no, wasn't no way you was gonna be able to do that.
No.
And back after working? Oh, man.
No, you wouldn't be able to foot that. So yeah, we rode the truck there, and they brought us back home.
Okay.
And that was 5 days. We didn't go Saturday.
Gotcha.
We had to catch up on our stuff on Saturday. Yeah.
Back at home.
Yeah.
Well, hey, listen, y'all traveled, that's for sure. Y'all made your rounds.
Yeah, we did.
With all that walking now, what about, did you have a walking stick back in the day?
Walking stick? Well, what is a walking stick?
I was specifically told to ask you about a walking stick.
My uncle was the only one that had a walking stick.
Okay.
And he walked everywhere he could go.
Which uncle was that?
Uncle Willie.
Uncle Willie, okay.
You've heard talk about the 5 older boys by the first wife?
By your dad? Your dad's sons?
No.
No, but break it down for me.
Okay. My grandfather, my dad's father, he was married twice.
Okay.
The first marriage, his wife died. I think it was connected with the 5th child.
Oh, okay.
And so...
Man, that's hard.
Yeah. So he remarried my grandmother that we knew. Okay. We didn't know this other one.
Gotcha.
And they call it the other set. And we didn't know what they was talking about. What other set?
What you talking about? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How many kids did they have?
It was only 5 of them, all boys. 5 boys.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. That was John West, 1. Uncle Johnny, 2. Uncle Willie, 3. And I tell you, it's been so long. It's hard for me to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't help that you got a lot of relatives that remember too.
Yeah,
Everybody
but it was 5 of them.
Okay.
And then
Uncle Willie was one of the 5.
He was one of the 5. Uncle Johnny was 1. That's 2. Uncle Sammy. That's 3. And
you said John West.
John West. That's 4. And there's 1 more. Anyway, it was 5 of them in the first marriage, all boys. And then when he remarried, there was 13 of them.
My goodness.
And
no wonder you don't remember everybody's name.
3 boys.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's just one set of the family right there.
Right.
Man.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that turned out. And I never knew my grandfather, my father's father. I knew my mother's father a little bit. I was only 5 when he passed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I told you about the time I drove to Berkeley.
Yeah. You said your chest was out to here.
Way out there, man.
That's cool.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
And the best part of that, I didn't have to tell nobody.
Right, they all saw it.
All saw it happen. So I didn't have to make it up or nothing.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That is perfect.